Hey team, here we are. Yet again, a Business Bites training. So I'm going to make sure that I'm coming to you live. I'm feeling like the tech is working for me today. It is, which is kind of funny because my day started out at 4 a.m. waking up to find out that overnight there was a major issue with my server for emails. And many of my clients are now unsubscribed in my CRM. And so my team has been trying to fix that today. So that was my 4 a.m. Shakar, hey, how you going? And yes, everyone's going to have a joke, Shani and tech. But the good news is I'm here. But it brings up an important point, which is this. Your time equates to money. It equates to energy, and your energy equates to money. So time equates to energy. So how you're using your time, you're either going to feel energized or you're going to feel depleted based on what you're doing with your time. And that energy that you either create or deplete yourself of equates to money or lack thereof. So it's really important that you spend your time doing the things that most energize and inspire you wherever possible, because that is what helps your business to flourish. Now, of course, sometimes we're going to have to do things that aren't inspiring, like me at 4 o'clock this morning, having to put out a spot fire around tech and the admin that goes along with that. But typically, you want to have your day set up in such a way that you're doing the highest, most inspiring things with your time. And make sure that those things are actually the things that are going to equate to more clients that you serve, because that means more money, more impact. And I'll give you an example very, very briefly before we get into the actual training today. And by the way, are you here with me? Give me a I'm here in the comments below. I can see there's a few of you. I'd love to know who is here. Let me know, because the examples that I give you today around these 2 simple steps to closing more clients by the end of May, I will give you examples based on who you are and the people that you serve. So let me know in the comments below. And it's really great to see you, Shakar. Hey, how you going? Okay, I'll give you an example about the importance of your time, right? Shakar, I think I'm here. I obviously, not in addition to Business Builder, I have a number of clients that work one-on-one with me. And over the weekend, I gave a particular client a task to do because she was feeling uninspired by what she was doing with her time, and she felt overwhelmed and like there wasn't enough hours in the day for her to be doing the tasks in her business that she needed. And she wasn't sure why, because she's doing all of the things. She's got all of the strategies. She's been with me for a while now. She knows the principles. She's like, what's going on? So I gave her an exercise that allowed her to get clear on where is she actually spending her time, and looked at how she can delegate what are not the highest priority action steps, the things that she can delegate right now. But very interestingly, she found something that she wasn't expecting, which was that she was spending 15 hours a week on what she would label as self-care activities. And you might all of a sudden go, 15 hours, that's amazing. I don't have 15 hours. I'm not doing that. Hang on a minute. You are. Because if you're watching Netflix at night, that is a self-care activity. If you're going to the gym, that is a self-care activity. If you're cooking a cake or baking a cake because you get pleasure out of that activity, that is a form of self-care. Now, it is important to have balance. I am not telling you to be a workhorse. The point of this story is that, number one, you want to get honest with yourself about what's really going on. because you can't transform what you don't acknowledge. And if you're sitting here saying that things aren't working for you, activities that you're doing aren't converting, you're putting yourself out there, you're sharing content, you're connecting with potential clients. But the truth of the matter is that when you really look at what you're doing in your week, there's a scale imbalance of what you're doing with your time. It allows you the opportunity to get really clear. Those that have the greatest success are not spending 2 hours a night watching Netflix. They're spending an hour and a half a night reading a business book or taking a course or learning something or doing the thing before maybe a half an hour Netflix. So it's not a judgment, it's an opportunity for you to get clear. And it's really, really important. If you are not in control of your calendar, I promise you, it's one thing you need to lock down, because you are not going to expand your income unless you're in control of your calendar. And that's why, you know, I've shared this exercise with a few of my one-on-one clients the last few days, and it's been transformative, because you can't transform what you don't acknowledge. So I encourage you to take a look at how you're actually spending your time, and is it doing the things that's leading you to what you say you want? Because there's likely room for improvement. And that's also the benefit of working with a mentor, right? We get their bird's eye view on what we're up to. All right, so today's training is 2 simple steps to closing more clients by the end of May. Yes, 2 simple steps. All right, I'm just going to jump into the chat. So Kimmy's here. Hey, Helen. Helen, you can't transform what you don't acknowledge. And you've come kicking and screaming to lock down your calendar. Okay. Give me a hashtag sales if you are ready to close more clients by the end of May. Give me a hashtag sales in the comments below. I'm going to do a hashtag sales as well to participate, because guys, sales is nothing more than connecting. And many of us have funny experiences or emotions around sales. Yeah, Helen, hashtag sales. Here's an interesting and short story for you. I cut my teeth as an 18, 19-year-old in my first real job was working in an insurance-only, commission-only sales insurance job. It doesn't get much tougher. Kimmy's here with me. Kimmy used to be my boss in this job. That's me and Kimmy go way back. Not many people want insurance, right? And then you're having to sell in order to live for the week, because you're only getting paid based on what you sell. It's pretty incredible. You learn a thing or two about sales. But probably the biggest thing I learned was that it really is about your ability to connect with another human being. And it's their vehicle for having the things that they say that they want. And actually what's really funny is that I was a gun salesperson, and then I went and did Juris Doctor in law. So I went and got a postgrad law degree, and all of a sudden I felt funny about sales. You expert turned coaches know what I'm talking about here. You go and learn a whole bunch of stuff. You get a few degrees. You know, you're a professional where people are banging down your door to come and work with you because of the industries that you're in. All of a sudden, you don't need to sell because people are coming to you in your brick and mortar business. It's different on the online world, and particularly in the coaching world. So the benefit for you today, by the way, I obviously solved that problem, and I'm back to loving sales, just in case you didn't know how the story ended. Here we are. The benefit of today, hey Ruth, hey Marc-Andre, hey Maria. The benefit of today is for you to get 2 steps that you can implement right now that are going to get you sales by the end of the May. So are you ready? Give me a hashtag ready. Are we ready to go? I am going to share screen. Maria's going to love my drawings today, or not. Maria made jokes about the way that I am not clear. I'm not. I'm really not. It's okay. I don't have a degree in art, right? I have a degree in law and sales experience. All right. Helen's ready. At least one of you's ready. Adil, hey, welcome. Okay, awesome. There's a couple that are ready. Okay. So why have I told you all of those stories? Well, they're relevant to where we're going today, and here's why. So your ability to make sales and make more sales consistently really comes down to two things. I'm going to move my keyboard out of the way. And those two things are attitude plus action. So if you're struggling with making sales in your business and keep expanding the amount of sales that you make, one of two things is probably happening. You might have a great attitude, but if you're not getting results, if you're not getting sales consistently, then the problem is the action that you're taking or the inaction. Because you might be taking action, but it may not be the strategic action that you've needed to take. For example, what often happens, what I hear regularly from people who come into Business Builder when they first start, they're saying, I'm doing things on social media. I'm connecting, I'm finding people, I'm sharing content. But that action, there's no strategy behind it. It's guessing. So it's not just the action that you're taking, it's about making sure that what you're focused on is the right action that's going to give you the results, right? And again, it's hard to work this out on your own. This is why you work with mentors. But equally, you might be now at a place where you know you've done the right things to get the right, or equip yourself with the right strategy, but now you're still not making sales consistently. So you're like, well, what's going on here? And if that's the case, if you know with certainty that the action that you're taking is the right action, and you see others who are taking the same action as you, they've been in the same program, they're going through the same course, they've worked with the same coach, and they're getting the results, and you're wondering, why am I not? Then what's probably happening is attitude. So both of these need to be in alignment in order to make more sales, and especially make more sales by the end of May, because we've got about 12 days or so. So your attitude, we're going to start with attitude. And I've been reading a book at the moment, and I thought that this was a beautiful summary that you'll get a lot of benefit out of in this book that she talks about. There's two different types of attitudes. And that is the verb attitude. And verb it's an acronym, and it stands for victim, entitled, rescued, and blame. Now, straight away, you're probably sitting here and saying to yourself, well, I don't have a verb attitude. I'm a go-getter, I'm no nonsense, I don't muck around, I'm positive. This may be true. I'm not saying that it's not. However, we're actually all slip into spaces of being verbs, of being victims, of feeling entitled, of wanting to be rescued, and blaming the outside world, such as saying, but I don't want this result. I do want more sales. I do want more clients. It's not my fault. Something's not working, but because I do want these things. When you're in a mind space or an attitude space of verb, it's the most destructive space to be in, because you've now put yourself in a total state of powerlessness without even meaning to. And the reason is because the minute you go outside of yourself and say, this is happening, but I didn't want it. This is not what I wanted, or I should have X. I should have more sales by now. Or you're getting coached you're waiting for your coach to lead you and your results instead of you leading, you're putting your power external to you. So guess what happens? The external world now has to come and save you, and you can't control that. So whenever we catch ourselves in that verb state, it's really, the mastery is the speed at which you can take yourself out, recognizing it, aware of it, so you can transform it. Because sometimes you can be in this space for days and you don't even realize. And again, this is why it's so important to be in constant connection and conversation with your coach. They are the mirror for you. They're holding up a mirror to show you as quickly as possible where you currently are in your space, in your mind space. Because you can't transform what you haven't acknowledged yet. So being in a verb state is a total state of powerlessness. So even if you're showing up to do the actions, if you're in the verb space, you're going to struggle because you're not doing the actions with the attitude that actually connects with people, that want to be sold to, right? The other attitude is sore. And the sore attitude is where you're going to make more sales. So the SOAR attitude, or the SOAR acronym, stands for solutions, ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And the reason that you will make more sales in this state of attitude is because there is always going to be things happening that you aren't happy about in your business. You can't escape that. But when you're in a sore attitude, rather than being a verb where you're whinging and focused on what you've got that you don't want, i.e., I want more clients, this isn't the outcome that I wanted, things should be better. Rather than being in that attitude and focusing on that, because what you focus on, you get more of. When you're in the sore attitude, you're looking at solving the problem. That's where your focus is. In the sore attitude, you're taking radical responsibility for whatever is happening, good, bad, or otherwise. So that rather than being in the problem, because here's in the problem, rather than being in the problem, you're working on the problem. And that is the greatest state of power you can be in. Rather than saying, I've tried to connect with 10 new clients this week, none of them have responded to me. I want more clients. This is not right. Something isn't right. I'm exhausted. I should be further along by now. When you're in sore attitude, you're analyzing what you did, what parts worked, what parts could be improved, and you're continuing to take the action. Because if you don't take the action, you're not in conversation, therefore you're not going to make more sales. If you're too caught up on what's not working, rather than looking at how to make it work, you're not going to make more sales. So the first simple step to closing more clients by the end of May is to check in on where your attitude is. And if you're currently in the verb state, then you obviously need to take action to take yourself to the soar state. Part of coming to Business Builder is about doing that. I had one of my one-on-one clients say to me earlier today that one of the huge benefits of being in Business Builder is before we start our prospecting activities for the hour, we do an activity to bring you to center and to connect with yourself so that you can go out and connect with others. And it's that energy, it's the soar energy, it's the soar attitude that connects and closes more clients. People don't want to deal with you when you're in a verb space. So step one is the attitude. You've got to come from the soar place. People want to be with you if you're soaring, yeah? Because people want to soar along with you. So do you want to soar and close more clients by the end of May? Give me a hashtag soar in the comments below. If I don't get a hashtag, we don't get the second step because it means that nobody's ready to move to the next step. Yeah? So a hashtag soar in the comments below if you're ready to make more sales and soar by the end of May. All right, Helen's straight on the job. I love it, Helen. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Helen's going to be a winner. Well, she is a winner, but she's going to win more by the end of May, right? Anna, hello. Adil, Kimmy. All right, we're ready. Okay, you may want to get a pen and paper out ready for this next part because I'm going to take you through an exercise for you to get clarity on now the action that you need to take. The specific action that you need to take. So if this is step one, now we're going to look at step two. Because as I told you at the start, you might be taking action, but just any action is not good enough. It's not going to get you the result. The action you actually need to take is the right action. And sometimes part of the problem is you don't know what action to focus on. Again, this is why we're in Business Builder. You get specific steps, step by step, exactly what to do that actually converts, right? That's one way. But here's the thing. You may be turning up on social media or looking to have conversations with people in whatever the prospecting activities are that you do, but you may not actually be clear on the volume of what it is that you need to do in order to get a result. So if you're just doing the action, but you're not clear on how much action it is that you need to take, you're going to struggle. You're not going to get to where you want to go. So step one, you want to answer the question, how many clients do you want to, how many new clients, that should say new, how many new clients do you want by the end of the month? Please write that number down for yourself. For the purpose of this exercise, whoop, where's my pen gone? We're going to use one new client just to make it super simple, yeah? So you want one more new client in the next 14 days. So now you have your goal in mind. You're clear on why you're doing the things, what you're trying to achieve. Now that you know where you're headed, that being one new client, the next thing you want to ask yourself is, how many sales calls do I have to have in order to get the one new client? Now, the way to work that out is you need to know roughly what your close rate is. For some of you, it'll be 20%. For others, it'll be 50%. If you're like myself, typically my close rate is about 95%, but I have very, very warm and pre-qualified people. I'm on calls mostly with people that are already ready to go, right? Which is why I don't have many calls a month, because I don't need to. But you want to get clear on what your close rate is. So again, for the purpose of this conversation, if you have a 50% close rate, you know that to get one new client, you need to have 2 sales calls at a minimum. Now, this might seem simple, but if you're showing up doing prospecting activities and you're not booking sales calls, then there's something broken. Something's not working in the action that you're taking. So the next thing that you want to ask yourself is now, how many conversations do I need to have to create the 2 sales calls? How many conversations do you need to create in your prospecting activities to generate the 2 sales calls? It may be that you have to speak to 20 prospects to create 2 calls. I don't know. You want to get clear on what your numbers are. Even if you're not a numbers tracker, you'll have a general sense, an inner wisdom. Yeah. So if you need to speak to 20 people, 20 prospects to get 2 sales calls, you now want to break that down. If there are 14 days left in the month, you've got to go and have 2 conversations per day with 2 new prospects, because that by the end of the 14-day period is going to give you your 2 sales calls, which leads to your 1 new client. Now you start to have a clearer picture of actually what it is that you need to do, rather than just fumbling around and doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff. You can see the numbers now. So it's like 14 days in the month, 2 people per day. All of a sudden, your goal becomes a lot more achievable. But you have to have the right attitude and you have to be taking the right action. Meaning that, yes, you can go and speak to 2 new people, but if you don't have clarity on where your people are, who they actually are and how to read their profiles to know that it's them, or how to connect with them in a meaningful way, not a salesy way, then the last part of the process is where you're going to struggle. And of course, that is you need that at the entry point in order to be able to generate the conversations. So of course, that is exactly what we do inside of Business Builder. We find your people, you get clear on who they are and where they are, and it's your visibility piece. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you are not already a member, I encourage you to come and join our community, because not only will you soar with the right attitude, being around the right people in the right space consistently, it's not a tick or flick. But in addition to soaring with your attitude, you also get the right action steps to take. The key here is you have to be consistent. And the benefit is that you have me with you, constantly looking and watching and helping you to iterate the parts that you personally need to iterate, because you are still unique. Yes, there's a strategy to follow, but it also has to be molded and shaped for you and your unique audience. So I hope to see you there, and the link is in the chat. Team, Was that of benefit? How'd you go? Are you clear on the 2 simple steps? Pardon me. Give me a hashtag clear if that was easy for you to follow. You can see what you need to do now to get there before the end of May. You've got clarity in your goal, and you know that you're going to work on your attitude as well as your action steps. But most importantly, you're ready to show up and connect, because sales is just about connecting, team. But you want to make sure you're connecting with the right people, and you want to make sure you're connecting in a way that actually is meaningful to them instead of eye-centric and spammy and salesy, because otherwise they're just going to scroll straight past you. All right, my beautiful people, we have gone over time. I very much appreciate you being here. It was only going to be 15 minutes today, but of course I started telling you a whole bunch of stories. So I hope you enjoyed those stories as well. For the rest of you, I'm going to see you in a Business Builder session in approximately 25 minutes. But if you're not in Business Builder, please come and join us. It is attitude and action galore, and you will have an incredible time as well as soar and find the right people. Until next time, team, have a great day.